My name is Suzette Cain, and I'm from Lame Deer, Montana, northern Cheyenne Indian Reservation. And what my life was like before was a very dysfunctional family. Grew up in an alcoholic home, was molested as a child, witnessed my mother trying to commit suicide by shooting herself in the head and finding her. And I was pregnant at the age of 14 and was just looking for somebody to love me, somebody to care for me and embrace me. It was very hard. I had some Christian people that were supportive of me and tried to encourage me. When I was pregnant with my first child, my mother had wanted me to get an abortion, and I didn't want to, but Pastor Dennis Bauer came into my life and was praying with me that the Lord would have His hand over my baby and be able to let my baby live. And I was so tired of being alone, I guess just the heavy burden of being I was hopeless, basically. I was very hopeless. I didn't see no light at the end of the tunnel, and I knew that I did not want this for my children. I did not have the abortion.
How'd that happen?
So how that happened was, like I said, Pastor Dennis Bauer was praying with me, and my mother had scheduled the appointment to get the abortion. And the night before we were supposed to leave, we woke up in the morning and there was an unexpected snowstorm that came in and just closed all the roads. And so my mother threw her hands in the air and just said, "All right, fine, you can have the baby." And so I was very pleased with that. But by the time I was 19 years old, I wasn't making very good choices of my own. And I was in college, but I was pregnant with my third child, and I decided I did not want that lifestyle anymore. I just wanted to leave it behind, and I didn't want that for my children. So I got on a bus with just a couple backpacks full of clothing for myself and my children, and went to Seattle, Washington. And coming off the reservation, not knowing not knowing anything about the city, I just went. And when I was riding on the bus, I remember saying, I'm never going to come home back to the reservation until I feel like I can help my people somehow, some way. And I never knew what that was. And I got to Seattle, and I had my struggles still through. I lived there for 21 years, was married, had another child, and I had many different jobs, and I tried to get anything that said I was certified to do this, thinking that I was going to be able to go back and use that on the reservation. I got into the man that I married was also a domestic violence relationship, and I got out of that relationship only because I finally made my choice to get out of that relationship was because I had the cold barrel of a gun put to my forehead. And I got out of that relationship, started working for the city. I had a very good job. I went through an apprenticeship, and I was a high voltage electrician. And then, but there was still something missing. There was that big void. There was that big emptiness within my. I went to a Mary Kay party, and I liked what I saw. I liked that they had freedom. She had the consultant had the opportunity to make new friends. She was living her life. And I wanted part of that. And what struck me the most was within Mary Kay, their philosophy is God first, family second, and career third. And I thought, well, a friend of mine, I said, why don't we sign up? And so we signed up to be consultants, and we were talking, and I said, well, why don't we try that? Why don't we put God first, family second, and career third? We've tried everything else. She was coming out of a bad 20-year marriage, and so we found a church to go to, and we got involved in the women's Bible study. We went to church faithfully every Sunday, and we were always in the Word. And after about a year of being in church, we kind of took a look back at how our life had transformed. Because through that year there was a lot of tears, there was a lot of, we were cleaning out our hearts through the year, and it was really good to have her as a friend to walk with me in Christ and grow together. And then I decided to leave my city job because there was just that empty void there. I didn't feel like I was making a difference in anybody's life, not even my own, because I wasn't happy where I was at. So I quit that job, and I was coming home, which is back to the reservation in Montana, and I was driving down the street, and I saw these young girls pushing baby strollers down the road. And I remember just pulling over and stopping and saying, that was me 21 years ago. And the same thing is happening over and over again. And if I could help one young girl find Christ and start living her life, when I found Christ, I didn't have to feel like I had to struggle anymore. I didn't have to carry all the shame and all the burden of my childhood, with all the things that have happened to me and what I saw. I saw things that a child should never see, a human should never see. And so I wanted to just help another young girl from my own reservation to find Christ. And so there was such a peace about it, and I said, it's time to come home. And so I've come home, and what it is like now is, within our ministry at home, we have a group of young girls and boys, a youth group, and I just love each and every one of them. And just to be there with them every week and encourage them, and being involved in the community, and I just want to give back to the community. I just want to share, help people come alive, help them to see God, help them to know that Jesus has He's already died on the cross for all of their sins, and they don't have to carry all the shame and the hurtfulness, the loneliness, the feeling of being unloved. And I just want to be able to share that with as many people as I can, especially our young people.